Lads, I need to talk about this right here. So yesterday's game was obviously funny. Yesterday's game was obviously crazy. But have you guys not seen the petition? The petition, lads. So if you guys didn't see, obviously, there is the Dallas Wings fan page. Take the All-Star game out of Indiana. I'm serious. This is about player safety. Dude, don't worry. Neither JC or Marina's making the All-Star team. Players will be safe.
The WNBA wants Sophie Cunningham gone? Like, vanish your existence gone. And why? Because apparently, defending your teammate and roasting rivals now counts as a capital offense in women's basketball. Did Sophie drop 30 points? Or just too many inconvenient truth bombs? Buckle up, because this league drama just hit Mach speed, going 0 to full-blown soap opera quicker than you can say foul. We're talking ejections, Olympic-level overreactions, and a league-wide meltdown hotter than a mid-July bench warmer. You absolutely will not believe why they're trying to permanently sideline her. Let's dive headfirst into the pure chaos
we have had so far with Sophie Cunningham. She is standing on business. She's trending everywhere, and now she's retweeting all the drama. Sophie has simply made herself a star, which she was already famous, but at this point, she hella famous, super famous. She got parody accounts been made on her. God, this is lit. But
only in today's completely upside down, bizarre version of the WNBA can a player courageously defend her teammate from a relentless barrage of cheap shots, elbows, and dirty plays, and somehow she's the one fans are foaming at the mouth to see punished. One particularly dramatic keyboard warrior, clearly auditioning for a Netflix special, actually declared with Shakespearean conviction, no place in the game for what Sophie Cunningham did. That warrants further review and penalty from the league. Seriously? Standing up for Caitlin Clark is now considered a criminal offense. Apparently, protecting a teammate is grounds for public execution, at least according to the WNBA outrage machine. But of course, the drama didn't end there. Fans never waste a perfectly good meltdown. They instantly transformed into digital crusaders, proudly posting their grand achievement, a petition to have Sophie removed from the league. You literally cannot make this stuff up. Removed? For real? Where was that energy when Caitlin Clark was getting slammed just for being, talented? No one cried for banishment then. The WNBA is a mess. And after reading the next fan post, I'm convinced it's not just bias, it's straight up ridiculous. Remove Sophie Cunningham from WNBA for misconduct. Misconduct. The only misconduct here is fans acting like Sophie hijacked a plane. Meanwhile, all she did was step up, show grit, and expose the league's unbelievably soft underbelly. If 119 signatures are all it takes to cancel a player now, then the WNBA might as well start handing out participation trophies and full-body bubble wrap.
So lads, Sophie Cunningham, obviously a player for the Indiana Fever, who got into a little bit of trouble last night. And by trouble, I mean she took somebody down, and then when they tried to go at her, two of them went at her. She held one of them off with one hand while getting the other one in a Muay Thai hold, and looked like if this was an MMA fight, she would have started bringing the head down to the knee. Like, you better believe in a 2-on-1, I'm taking Sophie Cunningham over Lindsay Allen and JC Sheldon.
Look, this isn't just about one play, one player, or even one particularly dramatic night. It's a pattern, an absurd, dizzying loop of undermining progress whenever the Fever even dare to breathe momentum. And Caitlin, she's out there rewriting the script on rookie impact, slapping attendance records into new dimensions, and doing it all while expertly dodging elbows, slander, and side eyes from folks who seem allergic to greatness. She makes a 3 from the logo, and instead of applause, someone files an emotional grievance with the internet gods. But Sophie, she saw it. She felt the arctic cold shoulder Caitlin's been getting from both sidelines and spotlights, and she acted. Not with grandstanding, not with over-the-top theatrics, but with unfiltered conviction. That act alone triggered a digital uproar that moved faster than a fast break. And the most ridiculous part? The petition's tone is so over the top, you'd think she dunked on someone's grandma. She protected a teammate in a notoriously rough league, and now they want her on a permanent vacation. The message is loud, if completely deranged. Stand up and they'll sit you down. Unless you stay silent, you're a target, and that, my friends, is the fever dream irony here. Sophie isn't the villain. She's the inconvenient mirror reflecting just how uncomfortable people get when women don't just compete, but defend one another unapologetically. The petition itself reads like something dreamed up during a caffeine crash and an exhaustive scroll through unhinged fan forums.
The enforcer situation at the end of the Fever game last night after the repugnant behavior of Marina Mabrey and J.C. Sheldon. And, of course, Cunningham ended up getting the gate out of it. I've also got Stephanie White making comments about the refs. I give her credit for at least she went hard at the referees. And I wonder, will the WNBA fine this coach over that? I've got a feeling.
They shouldn't. They better. Let's remove her forever. As if Sophie stumbled into Area 51 and leaked alien footage, instead of, standing up for a teammate in a contact sport. Forever isn't just overkill. It's fanatical theater masquerading as moral high ground. You don't ask for lifetime bans over a moment of loyalty, unless you're auditioning for the league's new role as head of unnecessary overreactions. If removing someone forever is now a standard punishment, then what's next? Life sentences for stepping out of bounds? This is less a petition and more a comedy sketch gone rogue. We're actually supposed to believe that Sophie's monumental crime was being loyal, protective, and assertive in a league that constantly begs for passion and grit. If this sets a precedent, then defenders everywhere better start apologizing for doing their job. She didn't instigate a brawl, sabotage a scoreboard, or pull a Ric Flair elbow drop. She spoke through presence. Visible, fierce, undeniable, and apparently that's now a cardinal sin, the comedic twist. Her so-called crime was committed in the name of protecting someone who's become the league's single biggest draw. Caitlin Clark, walking, talking, three-point launching ratings booster, and somehow the energy aimed at shielding her from repeated elbows, shoves, and strategic hostility gets redirected into a bizarre witch trial against her team. That's not just backward, that's doing cartwheels into nonsense. The Indiana Fever, through all of this, have done exactly what underdogs do: grit their teeth, take the hits, and keep proving that they're not here to be side characters in someone else's manufactured fairy tale.
Cunningham retweets the petition on top of her jersey being sold out. I told you, man. I told y'all. Sophie Cunningham is from the show me state, bruh. She's standing on business. She's standing on business, and she wish you would. She wish you would. She probably find all of this entertaining that they is going all out of the way for this whole situation with Marina Marbury and J.C. Sheldon, bro.
They weren't supposed to be relevant this season, yet here they are. Not only relevant, but undeniably spotlighted. Still, the moment they act like a real team, defending one another, they instantly get painted as the villains. It's absolutely laughable. Critics, armed with their sharpened tweets and emoji outrage, conveniently ignore the ongoing pattern. Caitlin gets treated like an uninvited guest at her own party. She elevates the league's value with every crossover, and yet she's met with hostility for the sheer audacity of being excellent. She's not just playing the game, she's rewriting how it's watched, marketed, and monetized. But instead of appreciation, there's backlash. Instead of praise, suspicion, as though her success is some kind of cheat code. And now Sophie, her teammate, her enforcer, her floor ally, gets villainized for simply acknowledging the madness and pushing back. Not with violence, not with venom, but with presence. That's the scandal. That's what deserves removal from the league's ecosystem. Please. This isn't about justice. It's about discomfort. Discomfort with someone daring to disrupt the status quo and say, yeah, no, we're not doing this anymore. The entire fiasco is a case study in misplaced outrage. A league begging for visibility finally gets it, and now it's trying to claw back the very momentum it spent years asking for. Why? Because the delivery vehicle, Caitlin Clark, isn't easy to box into old narratives. She doesn't fit the neat mold of a humble star or quiet achiever. She laughs mid-game, stares down defenders, high fives from 40 feet out. She doesn't just play, she owns the entire stage.
Sophie Cunningham's response to all this, in terms of her tweets, like, if you guys didn't see Sophie Cunningham's retweets, Sophie Cunningham obviously responded with the shrug Instagram post, but Sophie Cunningham also retweeted this. NBA fans have now made a petition to have Sophie Cunningham removed from the league. You can't make this up. I love how what's the petition on right now? What's the petition on? Because I know the petition only had like 100 signatures. I know the petition only had like 100 signatures, but it is it's one of those things.
And when Sophie reinforces that energy, the system panics. How dare they be unapologetically competitive? If Sophie Cunningham is the new scapegoat, then we've officially entered the upside down, where fierce loyalty gets flagged, where protection is punished, and where winning too loudly is cause for exile. The petition itself is a hilarious overcorrection. The league asked for fire, and when it arrived, they called the fire department. What's even funnier is how consistent this nonsense is. Go back a few games. Caitlyn dazzles, bleachers roar, social media lights up, and then somewhere in the ether, someone decides it's too much shine. Everyone apparently needs a mop to clean it up. But here's the kicker, the heat of hypocrisy really turns up when it's Sophie taking a stand. She shows loyalty, she jumps in, bam, petition, and not just any petition, but the kind that feels manufactured in a basement workshop, fueled by insecurity and iced coffee, because apparently defending a teammate now comes with consequences fit for an international tribunal. You'd think Sophie snuck into a league meeting and rewrote the Constitution. Nope. She simply didn't let her teammate get tossed around like a loose ball on defense. Cue the outrage squad.
Crazy that entire sentence just rolled out of my mouth, because the NFL officials are so bad that a lot of people think the game is rigged or scripted. By the way, I've seen that about the WNBA as of late too. Like, are the officials trying to navigate games in certain directions? We got to remember, there's things like prop betting, and can we keep somebody? Hey, I put $2,000 over on Caitlin Clark not being able to score 25 points tonight. The payoff on that is 10 grand.
They fire up their keyboards, inflate their egos, and unleash a digital tantrum, pretending the very soul of basketball now rests on removing someone who, gasp, cares. Transitions? Sure, let's pivot. Have you even seen the numbers? Caitlyn averages like 22 a game. The Fever have a winning streak rumor going around, and yet there's a collective eye roll record spinning somewhere. It's like someone binge watched Mean Girls one too many times and decided WNBA teams are just mean girls in short skirts. But they're not. They're athletes with sweat and actual grit, unlike internet trolls who can't even spell irony. And let's get one thing straight. This isn't about one play or one moment. It's a pattern, a routine, a rinse and repeat cycle where the exact same crowd that begs for visibility can't handle it when it finally arrives, in the form of a blonde assassin from Iowa dropping triple threat moves and literally changing the financial forecast of a league in real time. Suddenly, it's not about the game anymore. It's about maintaining a fragile hierarchy where success is suspicious and backup dancers better stay in formation. The Fever aren't out here playing dirty, they're just done being polite about being bulldozed. Sophie's stance wasn't aggression, it was overdue. It was a no more nonsense moment in a league that claims to value empowerment, but often punishes those who use it at full volume. Funny how the silence from leadership grows louder every time Fever players get shoved, cheap shotted, or thrown under the bus while chasing a playoff spot they've actually earned.
There's actually a petition out there that they want to kick out Sophie Cunningham out the league. Where was this petition at for Kennedy Carter? Where was this petition at with Dejanay Carrington? Where was this petition at with Alyssa Thomas when she chokeslammed Angel Reese? No, it falls on deaf ears, right? Because she defends Caitlin Clark, it's a problem. This league is so freaking petty and lame. That's why I call it the WNBA. There's so much envy and they're all green with this. It's embarrassing. And the fact that this person created this petition is embarrassing.
Meanwhile, the scoreboard tells a wildly different tale. Caitlyn's lighting up stats sheets, Sophie's drawing defenders like moths to a bug zapper, and Indiana is building undeniable momentum. But on Twitter, you'd think they robbed a bank. Comment sections read like a courtroom drama, minus all the pesky nuance. The delusion is so thick you'd need a chainsaw to cut through it. And all of this because someone dared to treat a teammate like family. Imagine that, teamwork being the actual problem. Welcome to 2025, where the moment a player shows backbone, someone calls for their career to be incinerated. Speaking of trolls, these petitions scream justice, but deliver absolutely zero accountability. They slap Sophie's name on a binding document, except no one's binding anything except their own biases. It's performative outrage with zero depth. Sure, petitions are a tool, used wisely, they can shift mountains. But when targeted at court decorum for standing up to blatant disrespect, that's like writing to Congress because your friend got a C in algebra and you demand she be expelled. Logic, it left the building long ago. And let's address this. Sophie defended Caitlyn. Did she hurl insults? Flip tables? Nope. She simply stood her ground and said, nope, not on my watch. If that merits removal, maybe we've warped the whole mission of the W. We don't punish people for protecting teammates. Unless, of course, your team is Petty Inc. and your game plan is to find someone to cancel every single week.
Definitely the W, especially if Sophie Cunningham is going to continue to fight people for messing with Caitlin Clark, because it feels like Caitlin Clark is going to get treated in a certain way in this league for a long time. She's not a rookie anymore. Okay? She's already proved herself. She's won. And then there were some, ladies last night that were trying to go a little physical. And in last year, I think something we noticed, and I think a lot of people noticed, is when Caitlin would get bullied, nobody would do nothing.
That's right.
Nobody would do nothing. It was like, hey, they didn't know, like, whoa, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe people are doing this to Caitlin Clark. Teammates weren't jumping in there. They bring in Sophie Cunningham. I had no idea. Sophie Cunningham was a black belt at the age of 6.
Yeah. Yep.
Boom!
Wow.
JC Sheldon, that's cute. You want to poke her in the eye, then push her into a boom Mabry thing? Go ahead. I'll take a take foul, and you'll eat the deck a little bit here. And then we'll get it. I love it.
To suggest the petition is aiming at league integrity honestly makes me laugh out loud. League integrity by silencing defenders? That's like preserving Shakespeare by banning the bard for being too emotional. It completely defeats the purpose. The WNBA thrives on drama, on accountability, on loud personalities. Otherwise, it's just free throws and uniforms. Need extra clicks? Just add a petition, call it celebrity removal, and watch the views skyrocket. But are we here for real sports or just social media stunts? Now, here's the truly shocking part. Nothing changes. We're in Groundhog Day territory. Petition drops, fan base explodes, Sophie gets roasted, then radio silence. Sophie still plays, Caitlyn still scores. Social media moves on to the next outrage. A Gatorade spill, a tweet misread, a hashtag gone wrong. The cycle spins, fans whine, the league shrugs, reporters type. If we've learned anything, it's that outrage doesn't require facts, just a juicy target. Sophie heroically defends her teammate. Target obtained. She must go, per the petition. Legal scholars, coaches, actual players. Most shrug, but the petition parade continues, like some dystopian convoy, taking itself far too seriously with suspicious earnestness. Meanwhile, on court chaos, the Fever are rolling. Caitlyn's death by 3 shooting is building to near tectonic levels.
Every time Caitlin Clark takes the court, her opponents act like they've been booked for a main event brawl. The WNBA is doing nothing about it. Opponents aren't playing ball. They're strategically ambushing her. They're trying to injure her. Opponents bring chaos. She brings composure. And what Sophie did last night is completely valid. The WNBA has to do something about this.
And yet critics yawn. Again with these stories, what's new? How about excellence, loyalty, camaraderie? That's new every damn night. But that doesn't rhyme with drama, so tweet writers don't bite. And here's a fun twist. Petitions often create the exact opposite of what they intend. The Streisand effect. Yep. You try to erase Sophie, news outlets amplify her. People research what's going on, they watch, they debate. She becomes the martyr and the hero, all in one. The petition basically signed her autographed poster for heroics. Let's transition sharply. Remember battleship diplomacy? Petitions are like sending threats in a teacup. Who's organizing this anyway? Did someone get a villain kit with a pen and paper? There's no faceless evil coalition. They're just loud individuals who found that staying home and demanding Sophie's removal somehow fulfills their existential crisis. And ironically, the The petition does absolutely nothing to help Caitlyn. It doesn't change her stats, doesn't make her defense easier, doesn't add seats in the arena. It's just performative justice porn with zero impact on the game. And yet, more petitions will come and more outrage. And still, nothing changes. Sophie scores, Caitlyn scores by moving the needle on visibility. Advertisers score. Petitioners, that's the only thing that doesn't score points. It's the unnecessary coupon clipping of fandom. Last pivot. Imagine if fans petitioned for a team that couldn't score to be removed. Would petitions even exist? Nope. You don't petition mediocrity out. You petition powerhouses for daring to play like champions.
This is the part right here, right? So I just hate to pause it. So this is the part of the press conference that was leaked last night.
It's cool, and I don't know how JC and Lindsay they get ejected from the game when they didn't do nothing. So for me, it's just disrespectful, to do this foul when you are winning the game by 17 points. Yeah, but she didn't do it on purpose. It was just defense. But I don't think that she did this on purpose. Okay, we can rewatch the game and in line when I rewatch it. I know JC, she's not this person.
It's anti-competitive elitism at its finest. You can be good, but not too good. Loud, but not too loud. Protective, but not too protective. In other words, a performative equilibrium. So while we're not closing, we never truly close on this stream. If Sophie does go, what's the message? That any display of solidarity merits censorship. That lobbying pressure trumps locker room loyalty. That fan demands override team cohesion. That petitions are now the official rule book, eclipsing the real rules of sport? It's hilarious, tragic, and tragically hilarious, depending on your subscription to absurdity. So yeah, Sophie defended Caitlyn. A petition springs up. Fans whine. Nothing changes. Sophie plays. Caitlyn dazzles. Drama recycles. But hey, at least we get a fresh petition ready before last night's popcorn is even cold.